name's Michael, and I'm a student in the structure of networks. I'm also the founder of Chi Psi Fraternity, and it's that network that I'm going to be examining today in this project that I completed with my friends Brookie, Charlotte, Big Chris Smotes, Matt Smith, and Paula. So let's get started. Chi Psi is the youngest fraternity at Yale. It was founded in October of 2012 and only received its charter this past November. It was founded with the idea of common values in hopes of making strong friendships and relationships, something that I like to call being the greatest friends who ever lived. And I think that once we take a look at this network, what we're going to see is how these relationships were able to grow so quickly, and how one individual was able, based on relationships with other individuals and their relationships with other individuals, to create an organization that's grown much faster than any other one on campus, to the point where there are almost 50 members today. So the purpose, the mission of our presentation is that using networks, we will explore how this fraternity was able to grow so fast, especially in comparison to other social groups on campus. We recognize that this organization is one that is only going to be able to grow based on the strength of the relationships of the people in it. And as such, we believe that certain factors that allow for relationships to form will contribute to the creation and the growth of this network. In particular, we're going to look at state/country of origin, residential college, which is particularly important at Yale, considering that residential colleges are kind of the heart of the university. Major, just because people tend to associate more with people they see in their classes, and also extracurricular activities. This last part here was not something I wrote in. It was something my friends wrote about me. I think it's a little self-important, but I, at the same time, think it's reasonable to expect that as the founder, I'll be in the center of the network, just because I was the first one to get to recruiting. So, getting a little bit more specifically into how we think those factors are going to play into the structure of this network, referrals. Who brought who into the fraternity? We expect that I'm going to have done the most recruitment, just because I was the founder, and that the people who were most active in recruitment are going to obviously have brought in the most people. As far as extracurricular activities go, it's reasonable to expect that the extracurriculars I'm involved in will also be extracurriculars that many of our members are involved in, just because that's where I spend a lot of my time. One of those extracurriculars, in fact the most important extracurricular, is ROTC. And because I'm so involved in that, we expect this to be the main common extracurricular activity. Beyond that, we do not necessarily expect there to be major trends, just because different students are involved in so many different things, and other extracurriculars don't have as powerful of an impact in forming the identity of individuals. They're activities that people are involved in, but they aren't necessarily the center of people's lives. And as is pointed out in the PowerPoint, people are just involved in so many different extracurriculars. Residential colleges, we predict, will be a big factor, just because, as I said earlier in the presentation, residential colleges are a key part of Yale students' identities. One needs only to look at the intense scrutiny that's gone into the naming of the two new residential colleges to understand how important colleges are to people and what a central component of their identity it can be. Because people spend so much time within their colleges, we expect that will be a big factor in the structure of the network of the fraternity. With major/area of study, people know people in their classes. For example, we know each other in this structure of networks presentation group, and we probably would not know each other as well if not for this class. Therefore, we think that certain majors will have stronger representation, and also just the fact that more students are in certain majors will probably reflect itself in the composition of members, just because it is a group of Yale students, and therefore it's reasonable to expect that the distribution of majors will be similar to that of Yale students. And the last factor we're going to look at is state/country of origin. People from similar regions often have similar interests and values, but because Yale is so diverse as far as that population goes, and it's really not drawing people from one particular state or city or part of the country or even the world, we don't think this is going to be an important factor. So with that, let's start to look at the data. We collected the same pieces of information from every single member of the fraternity to ensure credibility and consistency in our networks. As I said in the previous slide and the one before, the specific areas of inquiry were residential college, state or country of origin, extracurricular activities, major/area of study, and the person of referral. So taking a look at kind of this broad skeleton of the network, we see one of our first suspicions confirmed. Not to toot my own horn, but a lot of the recruiting was done by me. Michael Herbert is directly responsible for a large number of the people in the fraternity, and looking at the network from this perspective, we see that when it comes to referrals, he or I had an integral role in getting those people involved. Looking at it a little bit more closely, now we have some colors and some words. If you're colorblind, you can read the words. If you like the words, you don't have to look at the colors. But we see kind of what was reflected in the previous slide put into a clearer organization. Insofar as, once more, this network reflects the fact that I was the person of referral for many people. Looking at it a little more closely, we also see that Jack Belcaster and Ryan Minucha played a crucial role in bringing people in and being that person of referral. Examining the fraternity a little bit closer, this is also unsurprising. Jack Belcaster is the current president, my successor, and Ryan Minucha was the recruitment chair. So this shows that people are doing their job, they're living up to their responsibility. Not too much of a surprise here, but indeed this network reflects it in clearer terms, just how important person of referral was in allowing this fraternity to grow and this network to really manifest itself. Now looking at extracurricular activities, there are two extracurricular activities that really stand out. One is ROTC, as we predicted. The other is club sports. But I think examining this network, the key differentiator is that while there is a direct link between the people in ROTC recruiting one another, club sports seems to be more coincidental. There's a great diversity in the type of club sports people are participating in. So we think the extracurricular activity that really drove the creation of this fraternity was ROTC, just because so many members were involved in it and those members recruited each other. And therefore it's reasonable to conclude that part of it was directly because of their membership in ROTC and the relationships cultivated in ROTC, as opposed to merely coincidentally different individuals being involved in club sports. Looking now at residential colleges, we see one of our other suspicions confirmed. There's a strong showing from Berkeley, there's a strong showing from Saybrook, and looking at it very, very specifically, you see that people in colleges, for the most part, recruited people in their college. And looking once more at kind of the general social dynamics of Yale University, that's unsurprising. In fact, this isn't just true in fraternities. If you look at this structure of network groups, 5 out of 6 people are all in Saybrook. And that's just because people spend so much time in their college. It allows relationships to grow. And as a result, this organization was created largely based on the relationships of people in the fraternity through their colleges. Looking at major/area of study, we do see a correlation here between what people are studying and also their involvement in the fraternity. There's a large number of economics majors. It's a common link between many of the members of the fraternity. This reflects the fact that a lot of people in that major/area of study were active in recruitment, and this is an intriguing reality. And as we talked about at the beginning of the presentation, it's not particularly surprising just because these people are doing projects together, such as the Structure of Networks project, and spending time together and being involved in each other's lives in that way. Looking now at state/country of origin, we see the diversity of Yale University reflected. We do not so much see the realities of people recruiting people from similar regions. There is a vast variety of different places that people are from. There does not seem to be much of a correlation at all between people recruiting people from similar places. So this factor does not appear to be of any significance at all in the formation of the structure of this network. So kind of concluding all that information, wrapping it up, taking a final look at the data that we've compiled in this network format. As predicted, I was indeed a important figure in creating this network and recruiting people and using my own personal relationships to bring people in to the network more broadly. Jack Belcaster, the current president, and Ryan Minucha, the recruitment chairman, also played crucial roles, and a few of those individuals relying on a handful of strong networks with other individuals really allowed this organization to grow in a very short period of time. Additionally, we saw that ROTC had a very strong importance in forming this network. Other than ROTC, though, there really weren't any extracurriculars that had a significant impact on who was recruited to the fraternity. We talked a little bit about how a lot of the members were involved in club sports, but because they were involved in different club sports and because the people in club sports were not recruiting other people in club sports by and large, we really think that ROTC was the only extracurricular activity that had a significant impact in forming this fraternity. Talking about residential colleges, perhaps this was the least surprising finding. Many members recruited others from their residential college. Because I'm in Saybrook, it has the largest representation in the fraternity, and many individuals in Berkeley as well recruited one another, leading to a strong presence there. There is not a great distribution of colleges generally. Of the 12 colleges, it's very heavily concentrated in a few of them, and that's because you have individuals who have these strong relationships within their colleges, they're strong figures in the fraternity, and they're able to recruit those people, but that gets spread out a little more and to other colleges, and you don't see as much of a concentration. So the conclusion is that residential colleges were extremely important in allowing for the cultivation of the network of this fraternity. As far as major/area of study is concerned, we found that the economics major is a common link among many members of the fraternity. This is not particularly surprising considering that economics is a very popular major at Yale generally, but it also shows that members of the economics major were particularly active in recruitment, which contributes also to the large number of economics majors within the group. The last factor that we studied was state/country of origin. That had no correlation at all between who would join the fraternity. This is also not particularly shocking and confirms some of our suspicions at the beginning of the presentation. Just insofar as Yale is drawing from all over the world, it's difficult for regional cliques to form. There certainly are aspects of that in different parts of the campus, but that is not present in this particular network. So in conclusion, Chi Psi was able to enlist almost 50 members in a very short period of time because of its effective networking, particularly in regards to students' active recruitment within their own residential college. That was how the network formed. It was based on relationships, and looking at the network, you see how a few individuals knowing each other and using their diverse networks of friendship outside one another were able to turn an organization, a very nascent organization, from a very small group into a very large one in a short period of time. It's been very exciting to be a part of it, and I'm glad that I was able to analyze it in this way to finish this very exciting class, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you so much.